Hello there. I'm gonna read the sixth Swan, but I'm gonna read the main part because these videos are getting too long and stuff like that, and so I'm gonna read the main part of the storyline and stuff like that, and just me just talking about the story. So let's get to it. Once upon a time, a certain king was hunting in a great forest, and he chased a wild beast so eagerly that none of his attention could follow him. When even drew near, he stopped and looked around him, and then he saw that he had lost his way. He soon a way out, but he couldn't find none. Then he perceived an aged woman or old woman with his head which nodded persuasively, who came towards him, but she was a witch. Good woman, said he to her. Can you not show me the way through the forest? Oh yes, Lord King, she answered, that I certainly can, but on one the condition. If you do not fulfill that, you will never get out of the forest, and will die of hunger in it. What kind of condition? Asked the king. I have a daughter, said the old woman, who is beautiful as everyone in the world, and who deserve to be a wife. And if the forest, okay, and in the I gotta skip it of his heart, the king soon, and the old woman led him to her little
I'm
hut
not watching
with
this!
her daughter was sitting by the fire. She received the king as if she had been suspecting him, and he saw that she was very beautiful, but still she did not please him, and could not look at her without secret horror. After he had taken the maiden up on his horse, the old woman showed him the way, and the king reached his royal palace again, and where the wedding was celebrated. Oh my goodness. Jeez, this is creepy. I don't like this. This is remind me of Zig Zag asking King Nam for a wedding, marriage, and just this creeped me out. I don't like I don't like this. This is so creepy. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I feel bad for the king to be forced to marry evil, this evil woman. Like, it just make me eek. Poor children. Poor children and poor king. Like, hope that they have another better wife. But the sad part that the king, well, we're not gonna spoil it, so we're gonna read a lot more.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't.
The king had already been married once, and had by his first wife 7 children, 6 boys and a girl, who he loved better than anything else in the world. Has he now feared that the stepmother might not treat them well, and even do some injuries, he took them to a lonely castle which stood in the midst of the forest. He lay so senselessly, and the way was so difficult to find, that he himself would not have found it if a wise woman had not given him a ball of yarn with wonderful products. When he threw it down before him, he unrolled it himself and showed him his path. The king, however, was so protective of fragmentary way to his dear children that the queen was obviously assumed. She was curious and wanted to know what he did when he was quiet alone in the forest. She gave a great deal of money to his servants, and they betrayed the secret to her, and told her likewise of the ball which alone could point out the way. Okay. Wow. This is interesting. Is that the king already have children from his old wife? He have like seven children with 6 boys, and of course a girl. And yes, this stepmother is straight up evil. Like, oh my goodness, she's straight up evil. And so evil, in fact, literally the king had to put a separate castle or a separate home just to have the children safe from this crazy lady. And literally this crazy lady want to know where these children at, and she want to do something horrible with these children. Wow, what a creep. Call the cops, call the 911, call the CIA to check her room, and then just, check it if she's going to do some messed up thing to these kids.
I should have left you on that street corner where you were standing. But you didn't. I should have left you on that street corner where you were standing. But you didn't. I should have left you on that street corner where you were standing.
Okay, this is the part when she make the closes. We're gonna like read this part. Okay, and now she knew no rest until she had learned where the king kept the balls of yarn, and then she made a little shirt of white silk. And as she had learned the art of witchcraft from her mother, she sewed a charm inside them. And once, when the king had ridden, the forth to hunt, she took the little shirt and went into the forest, and the ball showed her the way. The children, who saw from the distance that someone was approaching through that day, their dear father was calling to them, and full of joy ran to meet him. Then she threw one of the little shirt over each of them, and no sooner had the shirt touched their bodies than they were changed into a swan and flew away over the forest. The queen went home quietly delighted, and through she had got rid of her stepchildren, but the girl had not run away and run out with her brothers, and the queen knew nothing about her. Okay, next one. The next day, the king went to visit his children, but he found no one but the little girl. "Where is your brothers?" asked the king. "Ah, dear father," she answered, "they have been gone away and left me alone." And she told him that she had been seen from her little window have her brothers and flown away over the forest. This is getting pretty sad, but I gotta read a lot more. In the forest in the shape of the swan, and she showed him the feather which they had let fall in the country yard, and which have and which she had picked up. The the king mourned, but he did not think that the queen had done this wicked deed, and as he feared that as the girl would also been stolen away from him, he wanted to take her away with him, but she was afraid of her stepmother and entreating the king to let her stay just this one night more in the forest castle. The poor girl thought, "I can no longer stay here. I will go and seek my brothers." And when the night came, she ran away and went straight into the forest. She walked the whole night along, and next day also without stopping, until she could go no further for wearing. Then she saw a forest hut and went into it and found a room with a six little bed, but she did not forward to get into one of them, but creep onto one and lay down on the hard ground and ceased to. Okay, this getting a lot of detail, but it said just before sunset, however, she heard a rustling and saw 6 swans come flying in at the window. They delighted all the ground and blew at each other and blew all the feather off, and they swan skin stripped off like a shirt. Then the maiden looked at them and recognized her brothers, and was glad and grieved forward from the bleeds of the bed. The brothers were not less delighted to see their little sister, but their joy was of Tourette and said, "Here, you cannot be bride," they said to her. "This is a shelter from robbery. If they come home and find you, they will kill you. But can you not protect me?" asked the little girl. Asked the little sister. "No," they replied, "only for 1/4 of an hour each evening can we lay aside our swan skin and have during the time of our human form after we are once more turned into swan." The little sister wept and said, "Can you not be set free?" "Ah, no, no," they answered. "The conditions are too hard. For 6 years you may neither speak nor laugh, and in the time you must sew together 6 little shirts of starboard for us, and if you one single word fall from your lips, all your work will be lost." And when the brothers had said the quarter of an hour was over, and then flew out of the window again as Swan. The maid, however, felt resolved to deliver her brothers, even if it should cost her life. She left the hut, went into the midst of the forest, and set herself on a tree, and there passed the night. Okay. This is okay. We gotta get some more. Next morning, she went out to gather a starwood and began to sew. She could not speak to everyone, and she had no condition to laugh. She sat there and looked at nothing but her work, and when she had already spent a long time there and came to pass the king of the country of the king of the country was hiding in the forest, and his huntsmen came to trees on which the maid was sitting, and they called to her and said, "Who are you?" But she made no answer. "They come down to us, and say they, 'We will not do you any harm.'" She only just shook her head, and they passed her further with questions. She threw her golden necklace and down to them, and through the condition them. Well, that moment with the king just marrying this quiet girl. But okay.
Okay, my thoughts of that moment is that wow. In order to have her brothers turn to Swan, she had to keep her mouth shut. Like she cannot speak, she cannot laugh, and she had to make some Star Wars clothes in order to make them human is by being quiet. And if she just talked, her project be like, you know what, be ruined. Like, oh my goodness, that's just no fair. That's just downright sad. Like, oh my goodness.